Yo, what's up? It's the Purple Yeti, back again on a tasty Sunday morning. I am back with my ridiculous moniker. I am rocking the Kansas State t-shirt. Victory Day. We'll get to that in a second. And I'm enjoying, because it's the last weekend of October. Got a little bit of pumpkin spice Via from Starbucks in here. Oh, frothy. And, wow, what a weekend again for college football. Let's get right to it. Well, there's the biggest game. It didn't happen in the Big 12, but let's run down the Big 12 first. Well, what happened? Oklahokma State ran over Iowa State. Iowa State's got a down year. Feeling pretty good now for Kansas State. They got hammered by Oklahoma State. I don't know if the team gave up or what have you, but Oklahoma State traditionally, this year has not looked like a full-on second-half team. But that changed yesterday because they really ran up the score late. So, congrats to Oklahoma State, and man, Iowa State. Hope you bring your A game for Farmageddon. Don't know if it's gonna work. So, I think that was the early game too. Now that I think about it. Yeah. So, let's roll on to the afternoon, shall we? I'll get to Kansas State in a second. Save the best for last. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll just save the afternoon for last. Let's go over to Baylor and Kansas, where the same thing happened, except this time it was Baylor running up Kansas. Although, really, we saw it coming. There's no surprises there. Baylor's toughest challenge is coming in the next couple of weeks, because then they'll actually play the ranked teams in the conference. That includes Oklahoma, Texas Tech, perhaps Texas? Yeah, that might happen. At any rate, it's going to get a little bit rougher for Baylor, so we're going to find out here in the next couple of weeks if they're real, or for real. I think they're a lot scarier than Texas Tech was. Texas Tech got exposed, but in a second. And then the last game that played well over into midnight because of some massive rain delays, Texas beat up on TCU 30-17, and there was a 2-hour rain delay in Fort Worth. It didn't catch us down here in Austin, thankfully, although we've been rained on a lot the last couple of weeks, and really keep it coming, we need it. But yesterday it was a big delay for the Longhorns and the Horned Frogs. And TCU's falling apart. I mean, really, just a second on the conference. TCU, even with Casey Powell, he probably had a little rust anyway, so he was coming back, and he wasn't 100%, what have you. And then Texas just did what Texas does, and that's just run. And I know Case McCoy threw a couple of interceptions, blah, blah, blah. They're a running team, and they should really not be who they are and not be like Boise State is what they've been trying to do. But I, either way, am enjoying them finding solace and maybe being undefeated in the conference. More on that in a second. Alright, afternoon games. Texas Tech and Oklahoma. Texas Tech was exposed, although not too terribly. They're a good team this year. They're going to be tough to beat for Kansas State. I mean, they went into Oklahoma and they held their own. They ended up losing 38-30, but I mean, they had the lead there for a bit. It was an exciting game, which also had some rain delays. But it's it is what it is. Oklahoma's been there before. Texas Tech has not. They're now both 7-1, 4-1 in the conference. So they're going to be in a hunt toward the end of the year. And I think, Tech will drop a little bit. Will Oklahoma sneak back up in the top 10? Whew, it's going to be close. We'll find out here in a couple of hours. But that was that. Kliff Kingsbury gets his first loss as head coach for Texas Tech, and they lost. It was respectable. It wasn't a blowout, so well played. It was good to watch. yada yada yada. Last game, Kansas State and West Virginia. Gotta take a sip for this. Now, yesterday I kind of declared it being a reboot of the season for Kansas State, and it looked like it happened, although it took a while for it to start up. Still, too many turnovers for Kansas State, too many interceptions, stupid fumbles for both Sams and Waters. That needs to be fixed, but I had a revelation yesterday. Kansas State won 35-12, but they were down 12-7 going into late in the third quarter. So defense showed up, made some plays, which was great, and then the offense kind of blew up. But here is why. Here is the revelation. The wide receivers. I was looking at this, and they were missed 2 weeks ago, and some injuries the week before that. But Tremaine Thompson and Tyeler Lockett, they're the playmakers on the team. It's not the running backs. John Huber, consistent run, you did a great job, good job. Quarterbacks, consistency is a foreign word to those guys. They're young, they're not prepared. You just got to deal with it. Now, Lockett and Thompson, they're on it. They're fast enough, they got good enough hands, and they're the playmakers. They're the playmakers on the offense. They've been sorely missed, and that's who Kansas State needs to throw it to. And you got two really fast guys with decent hands. That's awesome, because if you got a double one up, the other one's going to be in single coverage. And sure, you got Sexton and Gronkowski, and you got other guys that you could dink and dunk off to if they're both covered. But that's the point, is that it's going to open up some holes for some other players. Maybe not get a big play down the field, but at least eke the ball down the field and not put the responsibility on the quarterbacks, because the meat of Kansas State's schedule is done, but they still have to take on Texas Tech and Oklahoma, I believe. Outside of that, they got Iowa State, they have Kansas, they have TCU. So those are three schools that, if they played like they played yesterday, they'd have a good shot of winning, and at least it'll put them over the hump of being, I think, bowl eligible. I don't know if they need to win 4 because of the North Dakota State rule, but we'll find out. It's a reboot of the season. They gotta win, and win now. They won yesterday. They're 1-3 in the Big 12. They're not gonna win the title, but the Big 12 looks really weird. And congratulations, Kansas State. It's victory week. Get ready next week. I believe you have Texas Tech. It's either Texas Tech or Oklahoma, but oh, it's Farmageddon next week. Never mind. Get ready for Iowa State. They're going to bring a big game, and congratulations, Kansas State. Now, the other games, the game of the night. I'm not going to really talk about any other games. They all kind of sucked. There wasn't really anything that too terribly exciting, except for the Missouri and South Carolina game. Wow, 2 overtimes, and Missouri choked. I drank the Kool-Aid, I gotta admit. I thought they were somewhat destined, and you know what? They still can be. They have the lead. The destiny is in their hands still for the rest of the season in the SEC East, and if they could step up to the championship game, that's 2. So they lost. They were winning. They were up 17-0. And Connor Shaw came back in the second half, who was previously injured for South Carolina, and led his team back to tie the game up late. There's some questionable calls, questionable decisions. It ended up just being a really, really wild game. And the kicker, and really the holder and more of the kicking, the special teams unit, completely failed Missouri last night. And oh no was correct when that announcer said that when the kid dinked it in the second overtime. That was just unbelievable. A 24-yard field goal, and he missed it. He hit the upright, and it was over. that was a great victory for South Carolina. They think they're still in it. If South Carolina loses again, they're out. Missouri loses again, I don't know. They should just not think about it. But it was interesting to see all the old guard and the SEC puff their chests out after the game last night. Like it was like some kind of virus that they booted out of their system or something. They're still not welcome in that league. I would say even more so than Texas A&M, because Texas A&M is more of a fit. But man, I saw a lot of chest puffing last night after Missouri lost, and it seems like they're not really 100% welcome there. But you know, it's also because they're undefeated. They were the only undefeated team in the SEC East, and now they're not. A lot of undefeateds went down yesterday. Missouri was one of them, and that was a hell of a game. And I think that'll about do it. I got nothing really, and there's no real news going on. Just a great slate of games watched yesterday. Be mindful coming up. Coming up in this week, you'll see the football feedings post. Made some awesome pizza. Had an alligator in it, very tasty. Look for Pick It, Stick It later on, where I dig through Farmageddon, and we'll figure that out. We'll live vlog Saturday. I'll be back in action, live from the KC College Game Day headquarters, if you're in Austin, Texas. Leave some comments down below. Give me a big old subscribe up above, even though there's no buttons. Yeah, you gotta do some work for that. And drink up, people. Enjoy the victory week if your team won. If not, suck it up. Bring it back next week. Season's about 2/3 over. Let's enjoy the rest of the season while we can. So until then, hey, see ya.